sharing that insight on this news. Thank you very much. Now we move on the focus to India. 11 people have passed away and over 1,400 residents have fallen ill after drinking contaminated water in Indian city of Indore, exposing what officials and sources now describe as a preventable administrative failure. Investigators traced the contamination to a leak in the main drinking water pipeline near a public toilet beside the local police outpost, allowing sewage to mix with potable water. Health department tests confirmed the victims fell sick after consuming the contaminated supply. Officials revealed that a tender to replace the faulty pipeline was floated as early as August of 2025, following complaints of foul-smelling and dirty water. However, no repairs or emergency measures were carried out until the deaths were reported. Chief Minister and Urban Administration Minister acknowledged negligence, while the National Human Rights Commission has taken suo motu cognizance, calling it a possible human rights violation. A probe has been ordered and some officials suspended, but key questions over delays and accountability still remain unanswered. Now for this discussion, we welcome Dr. P.S.V. Rao. He's a senior doctor, joins us live from Bangalore. Thank you very much, doctor, for joining us, and welcome to NewsX World. Now, unfortunately, this news is coming out from a city which has, awarded being the cleanest city in India a few times. What more can you tell us about this ongoing investigation and about this probe?
Good evening to you and to your viewers.
Thank you.
This is a tragedy that was waiting to happen and is waiting to happen in many parts of not only India, of the world, because all these old water pipelines are made of either cast iron or GI steel, and these are prone to corrosion underground because of either acidity of the water itself or acidity of the water around the pipes, and the availability of oxygen mixed up in the water itself and around it. These lead to rusting and corrosion, and various salts which may be there in the minerals, which may be there in the piped water, can also add to the corrosion problem. Now, these pipes are underground and are not marked in any of these old cities. The only place where the pipeline exists is where the control valve is present. Modern pipelines are often made of non-corrosive material like PVC or other such compounds and plastics, and they also have access points in different parts of the pipeline through which you could pass sensors, which may be fiber optic, it may be visual, it may be acoustic, it may be to sense vibrations and check where the leak is. The problem is when this leak starts, no one knows where the leak is, and it is when it starts leaking, the water supply organization or the company or the government involved in it, their people start closing the water supply, and instead of having a continuous water supply, they make it an intermittent water supply, so that to reduce the leak. What the intermittent water supply causes is that once the water, every time the water supply is cut off, the water inside the pipe drains out through gravity, and it causes a vacuum inside, a negative pressure inside these pipelines, and because of that, air and water or whatever soil around it gets sucked in, and the water then gets contaminated with the contaminated water outside. The contaminated water outside in this was a sewage pipeline, sewage there. It can also be rainwater which has got contaminated, or flood waters which get contaminated. And diarrheal diseases is the major cause of death around the world, not only in India, all over the world. And the only way to control this is to have safe drinking water. And even here, it is the sewage which has caused a E. coli infection, contamination of the water, and it is that infection which is causing these diarrheal deaths, especially in newborns and children. And
Yes.
this is why drinking water needs to be very safe, and there has to be constant checking of the quality of the water, and the people consuming this water should use, if they don't have specific water filters or purification, they should at least boil this water before they use it. But the
Yes.
tragedy is that a lot of these people are poor, they are unable to do it. With great difficulty they get some drinking water, and often from tankers and pipelines. And the contamination, of course contamination can also occur in wells and in bore wells, but piped water is thought to be safe. But in this case there was contamination, there were signs of contamination, like the water was smelling, it was discolored, and this has been going on for the past few months. Action was not taken.
Yes.
Now same
Doctor-
thing can happen with the sewage pipeline also.
Doctor, so what do you think, what did this delay between identifying the pipeline, faulty pipeline, taking corrective action reveals about the accountability, also government, and what should they do in state levels to make sure this does not repeat? And like you earlier rightfully mentioned that this is not just this particular issue that is that has led to deaths. There's so many more cases like this, and could be awaiting to take place.
Yes. Now you see, when a sewage pipeline leaks, it creates a stink, and everyone affected also creates a stink, and these things are immediately identified and sorted out. But when the water pipeline leaks and they start doing interrupted supply, and this problem occurs, no one realizes it. And when the when this problem arises and someone even points it out, no one bothers about it. This is why there has to be accountability, like you mentioned. The responsibility has to be fixed, and people who are supposed to be maintaining this water pipeline, it needs to be tested. Now there are modern methods of testing for leak, finding out where the leak is. You don't have to dig a trench and dig up the whole pipeline to find out where the leak is. There are methods which are acoustic, there are ground radars, there are various other methods now available to check. And many of these old pipelines, which are more than 20 to 25 years, I think they should be straight away tested and replaced. And this has to be done to save lives. Otherwise, we are going to continue to lose lives. And like I said earlier,
Yes,
E.
Dr.
coli.
Rao. Dr. Rao, unfortunately, we're running out of time for that discussion. But once again, thank you very much for joining us on NewsX.